Hey everyone, welcome back to Lunar Talks, where we talk about the lunation through the lens of astrology, meditation, and mindful living. My name is Adriana, and in today's episode, we're sitting with the full moon in Aquarius, happening on July 29th, 2026, and it's inspiring us to balance our inner strength. So every full moon is a moment of illumination. It's a pause in the lunar cycle that invites us to witness what has grown, what has come into focus, and what's asking to be released. It's a time to step back from the day-to-day life and observe ourselves with greater compassion and awareness. The Aquarius full moon reminds us that healing isn't only personal, it's something that we cultivate within our relationships, with our communities, and our friendships. Our values and our vision for the future is also part of the Aquarius theme, and it asks us to consider how unique our gifts are to contribute to something greater than ourselves, while also honoring that authenticity that makes us irreplaceable. Throughout today's episode, we'll explore the astrology of this lunation, unpack the most significant planetary aspects surrounding the full moon, and then shift it to what I believe is the heart of this work. How can we embody these cosmic rhythms through mindful living and practices? We'll weave together astrology with meditation, yogic philosophy, tarot, and simple rituals that can support you through this lunation. So take a slow, nourishing breath, settle into this moment, and let's begin exploring the wisdom of this Aquarius full moon. All right, so this full moon is taking place at 6 degrees Aquarius and 30 minutes. So the sun is in the opposite stars of Leo at 6 degrees and 30 minutes. Here on the East Coast, the rising sign is Libra, which puts the full moon in the 5th house of children, joy, games, fun, laughter, that kind of free-spirited nature. And Aquarius is already a free-spirited zodiac sign. So this is a lunation that is asking us to dive into our inner child and explore that joyful structure. Saturn rules Aquarius. So the ruler of this lunation, the influence behind this lunation is the teacher of time. And right now it's currently in Aries, which is also influencing a part of our chart that is connecting to our inner emotions. And we'll get to that aspect later, but the main takeaway from this lunation is that it's happening in the 5th house on the East Coast time. The main aspects along with this lunation is that Jupiter is also at 6 degrees Leo. So when there is a cazimi, I've talked about cazimis before, but when there is a cazimi, that is when a planet is in the heart of the sun. Cazimi translates to in the heart of. And Jupiter is on the opposite end of this lunation, which is magnifying the Leo part of our chart, which is about our individuality, our creativity, and our uniqueness. But the moon in Aquarius is shining a light on the community aspect and the connections we make with other people that support us. Because what does it matter how unique we are if others can't be a part of that experience, who can't take away from that experience? So coming together, this lunation is bringing forward a maximized opportunity for change, with that Jupiter being the maximizing component. The change on the end where the moon is, we have Pluto that's only 2 degrees away from the lunation. So we have these two opposites in lunation, the sun and the moon, but we also have in the same tight orb an opposition of Jupiter, this maximizing planet, and Pluto, this transformative planet. So we are maximizing our uniqueness and our visibility, but we're also transforming our community and our connections. So we may see a lot of changes in regards to our relationships with other people or who we're networking with, but we'll also feel that opportunity in that space to be fuller in ourselves. And that is in its highest potential. We do have to be careful with these two oppositions, because in the lowest potential, we may overdo it ourselves in trying to be seen or taking away the spotlight from other people. So that's in the lowest expression. We're going to work on bringing the highest expression later on through a guided meditation and journaling, and as of course, a little bit of tarot. The words that come forward to me as far as like how this lunation feels, it's that it's a great inner strength that brings us the courage to go through the fire. So we have an opportunity for change, yes, but we also have an opportunity to grow ourselves. And we need that inner fire and that inner strength, that courage that lives within the Leo heart. We need that energy to cultivate. We need to tap into that ourselves because it's so uniquely our own, and it relies on that part of our chart that represents just our identity, who we are. The sun is in its ruler, Leo. Leo is ruled by the sun. So the influence behind the sun component of this lunation is naturally supporting that individual aspect of expression and creativity. The Pluto part is also just asking us to try it a little bit differently, try it within a new lens of a group or a community of people that can give you different kinds of feedback. So the transformation is supportive, and the space to exist in yourself, in your skin, in your own artistic eye is also supported. When it comes to mindful living, the lunation is asking us to seek a balance between the two forces. So every day, day and night are two different versions of ourselves. The energy we wake up with and the energy that we're ready to put to rest for the night to recover. This lunation is asking us to find the balance every day through every part of our day to make sure that we are maximizing that lunation potential. But this lunation is also supportive of a year-long journey because Jupiter is going to be in Leo for the next year. And I won't give too much away, but soon we are going to approach an eclipse season, and the eclipses are going to shift out of Pisces and Virgo and move into the Leo Aquarius. So this full moon in Aquarius is the last one that is a regular full moon before they start becoming eclipse Aquarius and Leo lunations. So yoga is divided into 8 limbs. Yoga means union, and with all these limbs, I believe this creates that union definition. But one of those limbs is referred to as the niyamas. And I want to talk about one of the components to niyamas. Niyamas translates to personal observance. So in other words, it's like a mindful awareness technique. And one of those techniques is referred to as tapas, which translates to self-discipline. And it's all about taming that inner fire. We have an inner fire within our heart through that zodiac lens. Leo rules the heart. Leo is a fire sign. So we have this inner fire that we can tap into, and we can create the fire. We can cool down the fire. We can really manipulate this fire to work with us. And through accessing that fire energy, that inner discipline, we can create something from start to end in exactly the way we want to do it. It all depends on how we level our energy, how disciplined we make that creative practice. And it's helpful because it's helpful to know the tapas and to practice tapas because it's not a personal journey. In a lot of ways, we access tapas without even knowing. So a majority of people I run into are active in some way, whether they go to the gym or take a yoga class, or, there's a physical activity that we do to build that inner fire. And then we cool that inner fire by doing things like going to the pool, taking a refreshing shower, going to the beach. So we have an inner fire that we tap into and we access and we manage through some daily activities without even realizing it. Intentionally tapping into the tapas, such as more often than not, a yoga class would tap into that more mindfully than a cycling class. By tapping into the tapas and really working through, let's say, an asana flow as if you were doing tree pose or warrior 3 or even high lunges, connecting the two forces of balance that you're working on. So in tree pose, you're standing on one foot while balancing the other foot connected to the standing foot. In warrior 3, your arms are extended to the north end of your mat, and your one foot is stretching out to the back end of the mat. So it's the arms and the one leg balancing there. In a high lunge, it's similar, where the front foot and the back foot are balancing your upper body. So we're creating this heat to find balance through yoga poses such as the ones that I just mentioned. If you're not into yoga, later on in this episode, I will guide you through a ritual where we can find that balance together without exerting physical heat, and we can kind of just access it from a different perspective. Okay, so that was the astrology and the yoga lens. Let's look at tarot. All right, so let's shuffle the deck. And I usually work to get one card, but there are times where more than one card will speak, and I do love to honor those moments. So let's see what happens for today's tarot card for the full moon in Aquarius. All right. I know, the cards always give me more than I ask for. So, all right. Here we have Page of Cups, and we have the Queen of Swords. So what I'm getting from this, I actually completely forgot to mention this in the astrology component, but the moon is ruled by Saturn. The conversation that Saturn is having in this chart during the lunation is it's making a separating aspect to Mercury in Cancer. So Mercury just went direct like a week or so ago. We had 3 weeks of Mercury retrograde in Cancer. And in the previous Lunar Talks episode, we intentionally looked back in time and we rewrote the narrative as part of our ritual. And it was an emotional process, and it was an emotional connection because that lunation was ruled by the moon. This lunation is a little less watery, and it's a lot more intellectual, like up in the head. And it's nice that the Saturn is making an aspect to Mercury in Cancer that is now moving forward. So that narrative that we rewrote a few weeks ago, that momentum, that energy is now moving forward. So it's almost like we are taking the first step in the new direction that we set the intention for 2 weeks ago. And that's kind of what I'm getting with the Page of Cups and the Queen of Swords. Crazy, right? It's so good. So I love that. I feel like we're really being supported in stepping into a new era of energy. There's so much. I mean, I wrote a Jupiter in Leo blog post for like a general forecast, and that, for some reason, that blog is coming to my mind right now. If you get a chance, you should check it out on Substack, mindful.dose. But I talk about the last time we had Jupiter in Leo, which was in 2014. And in 2014, we saw a lot of music influence that kind of rooted in a space and time that just continues to exist and be relevant. I listed a whole bunch of examples of things that came forward in Jupiter in Leo. So I feel like this Jupiter in Leo in 2026 to 2027, this narrative that we rewrote is the beginning of this new chapter that we'll reflect on 12 years from now when Jupiter's in Leo again. So it's all pretty relevant. So the meditation that we're going to work on today is Tratak meditation. And what you'll need is a candle. A tea light works best, but a candle is of any height or shape or container is totally fine. What you want to do is find a place to settle the candle where you can look at the flame at eye level. That's the most important piece to the meditation, and this will lead us into the ritual as well. Welcome to your practice. Take a moment to settle into this space. Set down any devices Silence any additional noise and create a sense of privacy for your meditation practice. For this meditation, you'll need a candle, preferably a tea light, but any candle will do, and you'll need something to light it with. Before we begin, place your candle at eye level. You can safely elevate it using a stack of books or yoga blocks. That way the candle flame rests comfortably at eye level while you practice. There's no right or wrong way to do this practice, so be gentle with yourself and your thoughts as you prepare. Once your candle is positioned, take a deep breath in, fully inviting yourself into the space you've created. Allow yourself to merge with the atmosphere around you and exhale completely. Now take your lighter or match and hold it in your hand. Before lighting the candle, gently bring your awareness to the center of your forehead. Take a full breath in and exhale. Set the intention to transfer your inner light to the candle's wick and then ignite the flame. Carefully light the candle and safely set aside your lighter or match. Now settle into your seat. Rest your eyes on the flame before you and take a moment to tune into your breathing. Allow your inhales and exhales to become equal. Perhaps to a count of 4, inhale for 4, and exhale for 4. Now allow your eyes to gently rest on the edges of the flame, shining brightly enough to remain in your awareness, even between blinks. Observe the way it moves, how gracefully it dances in place. Watch the flickers of energy as you patiently gaze upon this small source of light. Notice how this light, though small, is powerful enough to be seen from a distance. Notice how effortlessly it takes up space, simply by being itself. Now allow yourself to gently close your eyes and bring the palms of your hands over your closed eyes. Let your hands offer your eyes a warm embrace as we bring this meditation practice to a close. Take a moment to notice any sensations that are present. Notice the quality of your breath, the steadiness of your body, and the atmosphere you've cultivated within and around you. When you're ready, slowly release your hands and begin to invite your awareness back into the room. And now let's return to our lunar talks. Welcome back from your meditation. I hope that you feel rejuvenated and connected to that inner fire. Now we're just going to do a quick journal prompt, which you can write down or you can type it down or put it into your phone recording, however way you want to capture this. But the journal prompt for you today is my inner strength supporting my heart's desires in a productive manner? So the ritual that I would recommend is working on Tratak meditation one more time on your own and just allowing yourself to feel that creative flow as you gaze into the flame. And if your body calls for it, I would do a warming vinyasa flow that concentrates on balancing poses such as tree pose, warrior three, or even lunges. Before we close today's episode, I want to affirm the lunation that we're working with, and that is, my inner fire is powerful, and I choose to let it warm rather than burn. Thank you so much for joining me. I am hosting tarot readings for the summer at a discounted price. You can check out using the link below in the description and use the code LUCKYJUNE at checkout for 35% off. I'm also doing astrology readings, and if you have any questions, if you're unsure what kind of reading you need, I do have free consultations. If you enjoyed the Tratak meditation, I have a meditation library throughout the podcast. If you just scroll back, you'll find several guided meditations uploaded. If you want to stay connected to any news and updates, you can sign up for my newsletter on my website at www.mindful.dose.com. And if you want to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram at mindful.dose. If you enjoyed the podcast, it would mean so much to me if you could leave a review on Apple, Spotify, or on YouTube, and I'll be sure to reach back out to you to thank you because it means so much to me. So be sure to subscribe so that you know when that is released. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next time.